And there's still more to the Montgomery College parade of national championship teams. Up next, the Germantown Gryphons baseball team. Now, after the Gryphons went to their second straight Junior College World Series last year, they graduated a bevy of talented players. And as a result, most predicted that this would be a rebuilding season for the Gryphons. But as it turned out, the reality was quite the opposite. Despite the key losses from last year's team, including All-Americans Jensen Pupa, who now plays at the University of Maryland, and Aaron Sofield, this season was anything but a rebuilding year for the Gryphons. Shaking off the graduation losses, the team had a multitude of strengths.
So far, it's been pitching. We've got 4 very good starters so far. Nick Franceski, Jose Sanchez, John Bergwall, Dan Liscinsky, and Kevin Story. And they're getting the ball over the plate, and we're making plays for them. Our hitting's starting to come around, and our outfield is playing great. And you know, the infield's not doing bad, but we're going to shore that up just a little bit. We're very young. I think we have 6 sophomores. They work their butt off. Don't have any superstars, but you know, they're working hard and they're pitching great. You know, we're making some errors, but we're making up for it with hustle, and they're starting to believe, you know, that we can win some games, and that's very important.
And the team's talent was bolstered by some vital intangibles.
They're low key. They don't say much, but you know they're fired up inside. And if you've noticed our scores, we've come back a lot. Okay, these guys don't quit. So, you know, for example, yesterday we were down 4-2 in the first game, came back and beat them 5-4. Yesterday we're down 4. I think we were down by a run with 2 outs in the 7th, and we happened to get on base, and a guy stole, and then we knocked him in. So I like that. They don't give up. They play hard, and our pitching is keeping us in the game. Anytime you're in the game, you got a shot at the end. So that's kind of what we're preaching to them.
And any time you only have a few returning sophomores, you better have some impact freshmen come in and make contributions.
Eric Behringer, catcher, is doing a great job for us. Kenny Voigt, center field, doing a great job for us. Dan Martinez, shortstop, doing a great job for us at shortstop, hitting the ball. Ross Sweeney, you know, he's leading the team in home runs and I think hitting around 300. We got our outfielders. Or in left field, we got Jose Sanchez and Ryan Kessiker all contributing. Kevin Story is, you know, doing it on the mound, and he's hitting the ball well. So we got a lot of freshmen that are contributing, which is great for us, you know, because you know, if we can win this year, then things will look up for next year too.
It's basically we're like a scrappy team, I would want to say. We'll do what we need to win. We're winning. We have a great record this year, and just that's it. We just have to play together, and we have a lot of key freshman players that have really stepped up a lot to fill those gaps.
I think this year we got a lot of young, scrappy kids. They're fast. They get the ball in play, and they can steal bases.
And mixing in a bunch of new players wasn't the only challenge this season. The team also changed its style of play dramatically.
This year we've been real aggressive. We're using the speed this year. Last year we had more power and pop in the bat. This year we have more speed and line drive hitters, and I think we're utilizing it pretty well.
Well, quite simply, there's not as much power as we had last year. We had good several home run hitters last year. More of a contact hitter. We've been really working the guys choking up a lot, especially with 2 strikes. Put the ball in play. One of our goals, one of our main goals this year is when we get a guy on second base and or third, minimum of moving them up, especially with less than 2 outs if the infield's back. And we've done a real good job of that. So if we can scratch out a run every inning or so, we've done it in several of our last games where we won 5-4, 6-4. We've done a real good job of that, which has kept us in ball games. Our pitching's been really nice. That's the one thing the guys are buying into it, and they're doing a real good job of that. We work on going the other way a lot, hitting the ball where it's pitched. So we make it as tough for the pitcher as we possibly can. And like you know, we harp on hitting strikes.
And steering it all was the head coach of the good ship Gryphon. Dan Rascher.
Coach Rascher's great to play for. He's real laid back, and he's got both sides. He's got the laid back side, and he also has the tough, brutal side. And, if you make a bad play, or you make a bonehead mistake, or you're talking back to the umpire, he's going to get in your face, and you're going to know what you're doing wrong. And then again, when you're winning, you're up 4, 5, 6 runs. He's laid back. He lets you play the game, and he lets the game come to the kids. He doesn't really force anything. He doesn't try to overcoach. He just lets the kids play. And if there's a mistake, then you'll know.
Coach Rascher, I love playing for him. I think he's one of the best coaches I've ever had. He knows the game real well. He's a smart coach. He knows what to do with you.
He just wants to win and make us play as hard as we can, the best we can.
I like him a lot. He's a good coach. I think he keeps the players under control. He has he has a lot of experience, of course, and that plays a big part. I think he's great. Yeah.
So despite the less than rosy preseason prognostications, the Gryphons produced a very successful regular season and headed to the Region 20 tournament as the favorite.
It was very nerve-wracking for the coaches, but the players had a great weekend. They played 3 very, very good games. We beat Westmoreland. Second game we beat Rockville, and we ended up beating CCAC South for the championship. It is pressure when you're #1 seed. You have the bullseye on your chest, and our kids handled it really well.
A 3rd straight Region 20 tournament sent them back to the World Series, also for the 3rd straight time.
It was disappointing in a way that we didn't play as well as we expected to play. Well, we played Joliet the last 2 years, and they're both very competitive games. And we thought this year, when we got them in our draw, we would give them a pretty good game. But when you get into a double elimination tournament and you lose the first game, it makes it awfully hard. And you really got to convince your players, that every game from then on in, you're knocking another team out. And in that second game, Nick Franceski pitched a heck of a game. He went 8 innings, and we loaded the bases up 3 times. The first inning, we loaded them up with no outs, and we couldn't score a run. And we eventually lost the game 5-2. But our kids played hard, and it's just unfortunate that we didn't, get the timely hitting when we needed it in that second game. These guys had a heck of a year. They won 35 games, and we only had two guys coming back from last year's team, starting wise, and it's a credit to the team and my coaching staff for having a very good year.
So even though they didn't reach their ultimate goal, this was still a season to remember. A 35-12 record, their 3rd straight Region 20 championship, and a 3rd straight World Series appearance. Plus, Mike Bokman and Nick Franceski were both named All-Americans. Ryan Kessiker made First Team All-Region, and Jose Sanchez made First Team All-Maryland JUCO. And keep in mind, this was a very young team this year, which means next year, look out. So the Germantown baseball program just keeps getting better and better.